What's up, YouTube? Now, you see the title of this video. Now, I said I would touch on this subject, about the Ice Cube situation that occurred. And I am kind of late on this, but I don't care. I'm only going to talk about this briefly. Really, the main part of this video is actually the second part that I'm going to talk about. But I want to combine the Ice Cube situation because, we might as well get that out the way. Now, when I saw the Ice Cube incident, for some of you who may know, when he went on the, Cocktails for Queens or whatever. He went on that show and he was just talking about, his plan for Black America and whatnot. And, I have my own thoughts on that plan or whatever. It's a good thing he's coming with a plan, for Black America, and that's very good. It's to be honest though, like I said, I need to make the video on my beliefs. I feel like it's too late to a degree, but at the same time, it's not bad because it can be maybe reformed to something else. Well, I wouldn't say something else, but it can be molded into something good. So I think the plan for Black America that Ice Cube's putting together is good. It's just unfortunate that, with all these corrupt, politicians who were Black that were put in place in certain cities, and they have done nothing but scam, or, be corrupt. But, that's a whole nother conversation, whole nother video. At least Ice Cube is coming to bring something that can be, beneficial. But, when you really analyze that interview that he had with the women on that platform, one part of it that really shows the mentality, and I'm not gonna say this disclaimer, this is not all Black women, but especially for the ones who I'm gonna talk about in this video, if you see the title, the second part that I'm gonna talk about, those particular women. Now, when it comes to those particular women, the one part of that video that really showed, that interview rather, that showed the mindset of a lot of these women was the part when Ice Cube was talking about the plan for Black America and, how this is for Black people, right? And the part that really was eye-opening was when the women on the interview were like, well, do you have a plan for Black women? Now, mind you, he said the plan was for Black America, which, Black people, which would include Black women, but they wanted something specific for Black women, which makes no sense because isn't this for Black people? Isn't this for the, wouldn't this be for everyone? The community, right? And I'm glad I put this in this Ice Cube situation in this video because it all ties into what I'm gonna talk about, the actual, the main topic of this video. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get this Ice Cube situation out the way, like I said. But they said, you need, is there something specific for Black women or something, for their needs? And it's funny because, he said Black people. This is Black women included, but they're sitting up here asking for something separate for Black women. And I find that to be hilarious. It only goes to show the mindset that some of these women really have out here. And that's the separation from Blackness. Now, we're going to get into the main part of this video. But that was showing, that was telling though. Because for you to ask something separate for Black women is just foolish. Isn't this about the community? About, and there was a lot of things in that interview that, just was like ridiculous. But I'm not even going to get into it because that was just going to make this video. If I were to try to break down every single thing that I found wrong in that, interview, I would be on here much longer than I really want to be. But the main part I wanted to get at was the fact of them asking something separate for Black women. even though this would be for black people, right? Black America. And that brings me to the main topic of this video. And I had to address this because, for some of you who know, some of the I'm not gonna say any YouTubers' names, but the YouTubers on the YouTube platform that regularly upload videos about black men, whether it be, them talking about the black community and, interracially dating. And some of you may know, there's definitely one YouTuber who just, all she does is talk about black men interracially dating. Some of y'all already may know in the black sector of YouTube, the toxicity that goes on over there. Some of y'all may already know one of those YouTubers that I might be talking about. I mean, I've already mentioned her on in some of my past videos. Some of you may know, but you already know some of the YouTubers on here that, all they do any chance they can is talk about black men. And I made a video about, the self-projection of some of these women in my last video. And some of the things these women will do. Anything to try to attack black men. Now here's the thing. Because I have to get on this topic, and I wanna say everything I wanna say, because I feel like this video might be longer than I want it to be. So, like I said, you see the title. So here's the hypocrisy that we must call out again. So you have these certain women on here, and the women who sit on here and talk about expanding your options or the divestments. All of them, either whether it be divesting or so-called expanding your options. Any of these women, you have to catch the hypocrisy of these women, because these same women. Now, mind you, like I said, one YouTuber in particular who constantly berates black men when it comes to interracially dating. This same YouTuber will sit online and talk about telling black women to expand their options. Now, here's the hypocrisy. Because you sit up here and talk about black men interracially dating and bashing them for interracially dating, and she likes to push the narrative that black men interracially date and it's always toxic. This is the narrative she wants to push. Now, see, because people want to do this, and because people want to sit online and lie on YouTube about the continuously, only showing negative, and mind you, here's the psychology behind this. Because see, people like that, they understand psychology, and they know how to imprint falsehoods in someone's mind by only showing one side of the story. This is this isn't rocket science. This is very easy to see. Only showing the negatives. This certain YouTuber also has a series on her channel where she shows a one side of the coin only, to push the narrative that every time black men date out, they are with fat, overweight white women. Yes, some of y'all might already know this YouTuber. I'm not even gonna say their name, but you have to understand the psychology behind that. Only showing the negatives of something and never showing anything positive. Always showing the negatives, never showing anything positive to mold a narrative. This is very simple. This isn't rocket science. This isn't anything difficult to dissect. For the people who are, because you gotta understand, the people who the viewers of this individual, a lot of them hate black men, so they will eat that up because it helps to mold a narrative in their mind to where now they can. It's almost like a delusion, which really it is, to believe something that is not all the way in reality, so that they can, in a way, keep themselves away from the actual reality, whether it be the reality of black men not always, being in the situation they claim, or the reality that their own lives are actually bad. So what they will do is they will live in a delusion to where they don't have to actually acknowledge their current reality, and also want to believe the reality of somebody else is either bad or just terrible, all the way terrible. So that basically what they want to do is believe someone else is just just in the mud or in the dirt, so that they can actually, not address their own reality. So these women will eat up the negativity when they watch this particular YouTuber, because it helps them to cope with their own reality. It's almost like a drug. It is also a mental illness. So, like I said, when this certain YouTuber wants to push the narrative, when it comes to black men interested dating and only showing negatives, and yet this same YouTuber will tell black women to explore their options. Now, like I said, the hypocrisy is you can't bash black men for interracially dating, but yet tell black women to do the same. This is insanity. And like I said, they want to push the narrative that when black men do get with non-black women, that it's always toxic. This is the narrative they want to push. Regardless of any information that you bring contrary to that, they will instantly just say that's not true. Now, it is because of that. And like I said, I don't really want to make my channel the focus of, these certain topics, but somebody has to call out the BS to a degree. So, and mind you, there's countless incidents and stories you can find out there of black women interracially dating and then being failures. But see, they're never gonna talk about those. They're gonna, as much as they can, keep those in the dirt. Because if those are brought to light more, and that is exactly why. You know what? Now I gotta this certain YouTuber. So like you see my past videos, you probably know what I'm talking about by now. But this certain YouTuber, that's why when she made that that live stream about a black woman who was in an abusive relationship with a bottom shelf Brad, that's why that drama started with her and another of these YouTubers who like try to find anything negative to say about black men as well, any chance she gets. Y'all know the drama. I just go look at my past videos. You know what I'm talking about. These two YouTubers. That's why when she uploaded that video, all those black women came after her, and they were super chatting her. So, or at least one particular woman was super chatting her constantly, so she could get her point across that how dare you talk about this? How dare you bring our negativity to the light? You're supposed to only show the negatives of black men. You can't show the failures of black women. No, we gotta keep that in the dirt, because we can only show our successes. We show our negativities. That is no, we can't do that. We have to show only the positive. You gotta push the narrative. See, they understand they're pushing the narrative. They subconsciously know they're pushing the narrative, because when you show their failures, then they're gonna be like, no, you can't do that. You can only do that with black men. See, subconsciously, it's the narrative they understand. This is the narrative they're pushing. Like I said, this is a mental illness, because to a degree, they know the things they're saying wholeheartedly is not true. As much as they want to try to make themselves believe it. See, that's once you say a person could say something enough to where they actually believe their own lie. And I actually believe there was a quote by a certain individual. I'm not going to say the individual's name. But a certain individual made a quote, a very prominent figure in history, who said, you tell a lie long enough, the people will believe it. This figure was very prominent in World War II. Some of y'all may know what I'm talking about. But, he said, you tell a lie long enough, people will believe that lie. So these women tell these lies. They've told them long enough to where they not only they can make others believe it, but themselves. Because see, they have to convince themselves that what they are seeing is, or what they believe they are seeing is true. They have to push the narrative, and they have to make themselves believe the narrative. This is why they constantly talk about black men when it comes to this particular YouTuber interracially dating. This is why she constantly has to talk about black men interracially dating and trying to so quote unquote expose their relationships when they date out, because she wants to push this narrative. And furthermore, I'm gonna get into, like I said, the hypocrisy of saying black women explore your options, but yet she will have a problem with black men interracially date. Always showing their negatives. And then here's the thing. You could show a positive to her. And see, this is what these women do. Because because they gotta find something. They can't never just say, oh, he's happy in his relationship, good. Because see, the hypocrisy is a black woman can do it. But no, you black men cannot. See, they will say explore your options for black women. But then on the other side, this same YouTuber will sit on a line and talk about some, you know, because see, this is the truth about these same women who talk about whether it be divestments or explore your options. The truth about why every time a black man dates out, they gotta find anything to say. And I've noticed this one thing that's been constantly, this particular YouTuber. You know what? Let me just stop saying this particular YouTuber, Cynthia G. What these women will do, like a Cynthia G, they will, when it comes to a black man dating out, they will try to shame him about because the truth about this whole quote unquote building thing, I had to talk about this because I had to expose the foolishness and stupidity of these dumb niggas. So you sit on here and talk about somebody not building a community. And, like I said, I got my beliefs on all this, and I'll make my own separate video on that. But, the hypocrisy of this is you will berate a black man who dates out and talk about some building a community. Mind you, this is one, if we're talking about, we could say a black man dates out and she'll talk about a community. That's one black man. Why are you holding him to some community and building a community? And that's just one man. What exactly can he do to establish a whole community by himself? And I know you're going to say, okay, well, he needs to get together with a black man. But here's the thing. Although that is, of course, something I'll be like, yeah, get together and build a community of black men. But here's the hypocrisy that you'll find. Because when it comes to a black woman dating out, they won't hold her to the same standard of, you need to worry about a community and this and this and that. They're not even going to talk about that. Because they're going to push the narrative that, when a black man dates out, we got to talk about some community and some building a community. Often things she'll say is, they're nesting in someone else's community. Now, this is the stupidity of these women. Because you got to understand the truth about this. This doesn't have anything to do with building a community. This doesn't have anything to do with nesting in somebody's community. And here's the funny thing about that. One black man could interracially date. And she's going to talk about, I build a community and this and that. Now, let's say that same black man who's interracially dating, donates money to, I guess, some sort of black organization to help the black community. They won't even acknowledge that and be like, good. They will sit up there and still bash him because he's not with a black woman. And, how can you be doing stuff for black people, black community, but you're not with a black woman? Now, the hypocrisy that comes there is, once again, they will not hold a black woman to that same standard. No, they will not. They will not. But yet a black man, when he dates out, the common thing you'll hear now, and notice this will be consistent because they're running out of things. First it was, you're dating out interracially. You hate yourself. And I still use the whole, you're suffering from self-hate. But this has been debunked. We've already dissected and destroyed that foolishness. That every time a black man date out, the thing is, he hates himself. It's, you hate yourself. You hate your mama. These are the things they would say to black men who interracially date. And now, what is it? Well, no, not now. Or it would go to, it would be you hate yourself, you hate your mama, or this or that. Or it would be, you're interracially dating. And, you're doing this because you, I guess you could say in a sense, worship white women or something. This is what they would say. And I'm only talking about white women because this is the main focus that they focus on. You notice they don't really talk about when it's other women. They mostly want to focus on white women, and there's a reason for that. And I might even talk about that in another video, why it's always solely focused on the white woman. But we'll just say, it's okay. You worship white women. that has been pretty much debunked. They really can't run to that anymore. You can't just run to that one anymore. So now, what is frequently used, and there's many others, but I'm not even gonna go through all of them. Now the more frequent one that a Cynthia G will say is, oh, well, he's not building the community, he's going to nest. Now, this is what they've hoped on now. This is the one that they're gonna run with. That every time a black man interracially dates, now we must talk about a community. Now we must talk about quote unquote building. This is the insanity of these women. It can't just be is with that woman because he is in love with her. It can't just be this is who he chose to be with because this is who he just found his love with. This is who he fell in love with. This is who he's found his love with. It can never be that. It has to be something else besides him just finding her, the best option for him. It can't be that. And it's funny because these same women will always run around talking about find the best man for the job. It can't be with the black man that he found the best woman for the job. No. It has to be all these other things besides what it actually could be. No matter what, he must be held to a standard of a community. Like I said, the truth about this building, like I said, it's nothing to do with building. It's nothing to do with a community. Because these same women were not worried about a community. They were never worried about a community when they were in their early 20s in all of their years. See, you got to understand, one of the things that I believe, my hypothesis with these women, and it's been proven to a degree, but a lot of these women that's online talking about this black men interracially dating and who talk about expanding their options. And mind you, these same women, like I said, they will love these same women who talk about expanding their options. They love to try to still bash black men and try to say things about black men. But you've divested. You've expanded your options. And another thing is, if you have expanding your options, why are you worried about a black man who's in an interracial relationship and talking about building? Haven't you hashtag divested? Haven't you hashtag burn the cape? But yet you sit online and any chance you get, talk about black men. It don't even gotta, black men could have nothing to do with the conversation. How do I know this? You lit it with these same women on their channels. No matter what, the YouTuber could actually, for once, and surprisingly, make a post or a video, upload a video that has nothing to do with black men. Black men don't have nothing to do with this post or this video or whatever. Whether on any other social medias. Black men don't got nothing to do with it. They will still find a way to bring black men into the conversation. Because I remember reading the post a long time ago where, the post had nothing to do with black men. Absolutely nothing to do with black men. Absolutely nothing. I tell you nothing. The black men had nothing to do with it, really. There was nothing you could do to even bring black men into it in any negative way. And somehow, one of these heifers found a way to bring black men into the conversation. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Found a way to bring black men into it and bash them. Found a way. No matter what. And why do they bring black men into every conversation, regardless of the fact that they say they've divested from the knackers? Why do they still bring black men into it? Because of their hatred and / obsession with black men. And like I said in one of my last videos, I will make a video on the obsession with black men because this is a mental illness. So the truth about this whole quote unquote building thing, this has nothing to do with building. These women don't care about building. They weren't worried about none of that stuff in their early years. They weren't worried about building any community. They don't care about that. That is not their focus. They could care less. And even more hypocritical is the fact that every time a black man is in an interracial relationship, they will try to talk about he's not building and all this. Mind you, this is one black man. No matter what he does, whether he were to donate money to, the black community, help the black community, they will still talk about, oh, he's in an interracial relationship. Yet these same women will talk about expanding your options with black women and will not hold them to the same standard. These women will, and here's the thing about the whole not building. Cause see, what you could do is you can run this trial with this to see what this really is. Cause you gotta break down the psychology. And you gotta do things to catch the foolishness. So what you could do is, since they want to talk about not building and always going to nest in another community, this is what Cynthia G says. Now let's say this same black man who's in a relationship with another woman. Let's say he buys some acres of land. You know where I'm going with this. Let's say he builds his own house in that land. Now, they can't say nesting now. And neither can they say community because he's on his own land with his own house. Now, it's not a community, but it's his own area. You can't say he's in nobody else's community nesting, quote unquote nesting in a community. The stupid shit these niggas say. The dumb niggas that you see, these dumbass broads. You can't say nesting now. Nesting's out the window. You can no longer say that anyone's nesting. But I guarantee you, if you were to do that and talk about, oh, well, I bought my own land and I got my own house, so you can't say nesting, they will still find a way to talk something about a community building. They will, because this is all they have left. They ran through all the cards. They ran out of cards. When you're playing cards, they on the last card. This is it. There's nothing else they can possibly say. Now, of course, they might find a way to sneak another card in there. Because once this building crap is debunked, they will find something else. This has nothing to do with building. No community. They don't care about a community. These women did what this really is because they have failed in their own lives. And because they have failed in whether it be relationships or younger in their young years of their life, they weren't worried about no legacy or establishing a family with anyone. And they were just in the clubs doing everything. Some of these women are single mothers talking about divesting. And we literally have proof of this. We have women who were literally on live streams with kids in the background talking about divesting. You can't make this shit up. This is the mental illness of these broads. So it has nothing to do with building a community. These women don't care about building no black community. If they really cared about that, they wouldn't be talking about black men in interracial relationships every damn chance they get and bashing black men every chance they get. They wouldn't be doing that. The people who really care about the black community and getting our people right are out there making the moves. They out there actually doing stuff and trying to get with other black people. They're not talking about hashtag divesting or exploring your options. And even the black men who talk about dating out. The SYSBMs. Those are not the niggas that are actually worried about the black community. They're just not. And it's funny because the divestment community, the so-called divestment community, the so-called divest community, and, explain your options, and the SYSBM too. We'll throw them niggas in there too, them dumbass niggas. Because to a degree, the SYSBM niggas, they're dumb too. To a degree. Those two, both of them have the same mindset. Black women talking about dating out with other races. Black men talking about dating out with other races. Yet these two opposing figures have the same mindset, yet they are opposed with one another. Now that is what confuses me. I might have to make a video of why they don't, with the truth of why they have it. Because actually, I don't even know. I got to think on that. Why do these two groups who have the same ideology are against each other? They both have the same mindset, and that's dating out. But yet they don't like each other. It doesn't make any sense. They should all be team swirl, or I wouldn't call it swirl, just team, date out or whatever, something like that. But yet they're opposed. And it's funny because Cynthia G will often try to, some of her videos will try to talk about the SY. When I used to watch her try to talk about the SYSBMs and talk about them, but yet she, is sitting up talking about exploring options and all that, So it's confusing to me, It's confusing. But like I said, with the whole building thing, this has nothing to do with building. It has nothing to do with establishing a community, And even the funnier thing, and this actually kind of goes into my last video when it comes to, Cynthia G. She wants to talk about out there competing and this and that. And the whole, that's the dumbest. Actually, to be honest, that is the dumbest shit that I think I've heard from this dumbass nigga sector of YouTube, from Cynthia G in particular, is the whole competing and all this. And it's funny because, like I said, it goes into my last video. If you go watch that, that has to do with the self-projection. She wants to talk about competing with the races of men. But what they do not want to get on is competing with the races of women. But we're not even going to go there. No. We're not going to go there. Let me stop. I shouldn't even said that. I shouldn't even said that about competing with the race of women. No. Let's not go there. This, like I said, the truth about the building. It has nothing to do with building. It has nothing to do with establishing no community. They don't care about that. They could care less. This is about bashing black men any chance they get and finding anything to bash a black man when he dates out. But that's pretty much it. You know, nothing to do with they could care less. They're not pro-black. Some of them even say they're not pro-black, but yet they will still talk about the black community. See this dumb shit? It's not gonna stop. But that's all I got for this video as of right now. Honestly, I might make another video actually pretty soon. Because I want to talk about this election. I want to talk about this election with this election, and you know what this is really all about. Because like I said, I have to bring my you know, make a video about my beliefs and whatnot. And I think talking about that election, I got to get on that. So I'm gonna make a video about the election, what's going on with that. But yeah, I had to come in here and expose this bullshit with this whole quote unquote building. These women could care less about that. It's just another way to attack and bash black men. They could care less. But yeah, I'm out.